Oh, you saw it?
Dean.
Here,
That's
these are all yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Who said Dean?
Give it to Ken. Yeah, I don't know why you would use them.
Nothing to sign tonight, huh?
I know, Beth was up
What good? Where's the good right here?
okay, dirty time. The regular meeting of the village board is now called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Here.
Trustee Here?
Here.
Trustee Argyris?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
President Abiscato?
Here. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Fondilas?
No, Madam President.
No changes? No proclamations, no appointments, no administration of oaths? Citizens' concern and comments?
No, Madam President.
No citizens? No staff report? Consent agenda, please.
What are we doing here?
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other regular items.
So move. Second.
Motion made by trustee Argyris, second by
Brady.
trustee Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13, new business, all listed items for discussion and possible action. 13A, resolution awarding a facade improvement grant for D. Agostino's Pizzeria, 241 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Janik?
Thank you. Good evening. This docket concerns a facade grant request for $50,000 for DiAgostino's restaurant on Milwaukee Avenue, 241 South Milwaukee Avenue. This previously was Hackney's. The owner who is here tonight has made or is in the process of making substantial improvements to this property. Roofing, almost total gut rehabilitation on the inside, plumbing, electrical, new HVAC, as well as all new cooking facilities. You can see from the photographs some of the where the money would be spent or has already been spent on the outside relative to the roof. There's new windows out there. There's new patios on the front and the back as well. The owner is here tonight for any questions. The facade grant committee met and agreed that the $50,000 was substantiated by the costs expended already. And if you have any questions, we're here.
Do we have any questions?
So move.
Motion made by trustee Argyris.
Second.
Second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes, we're waiting patiently. So we look forward to it. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Looks great.
Item 13B, ordinance authorizing a redevelopment agreement between the Village of Wheeling and Ted and Hands LLC for the redevelopment of the property located at 213 to 251 Dundee Road, Wheeling, Illinois, compromising a part of the Crossroads TIF district of the Village of Wheeling, Cook and Lake Counties, Illinois.
Mr. Ferrillo?
Thank you, Madam President. Before the board tonight is a redevelopment agreement related to the Dunkin' Donuts site at 213 to 251 Dundee Road. In April and May of 2011, the developer received special use and variation approval to construct an 1,800 square foot Dunkin' Donuts on that site. The developer is seeking up to $122,522 in TIF assistance to assist with site preparation, activities that relate to sewer extension, sidewalk construction, demolition, access drives on Dundee and Wheeling roads, and some various soft costs. The payout of this TIF request will be on a reimbursement basis only. It will only be paid out after a certificate of occupancy is issued for the Dunkin' Donuts on that site, and the developer, there is a deadline to construct the project in the agreement of July 1st, 2013.
Trustee Lang has a question.
Does this agreement include redevelopment of that existing building that's there?
This agreement incents the development that the board approved back in May and April of 2011, which was the Dunkin' Donuts site. This does not, this prepares the site for further development. It doesn't require further development beyond the Dunkin' Donuts, to answer your question, in order to get the payout that's called for. The developer is obligated to meet its approvals under the zoning ordinances, but the payment in this RDA is tied to construction and opening of the Dunkin' Donuts.
I have said this once before, that I really like to see it all tied together, because I don't think that building will ever be redeveloped or improved unless we do it now and plan it now. So, thank you.
Trustee Brady.
Thank you. The new site plan shows that driveway going out to Willie. Are we taking that little garage down that's behind the main office building there? As part of this agreement?
I do not believe the garage adjacent to the building is being taken down.
So nothing's happening there. How long will this agreement stay in effect if this takes years and years before he comes or anybody comes around to either take the center lot or do something with the building?
This agreement only relates to payment for the various utility extensions and the construction that I mentioned tied to the Dunkin' Donuts. If it's not completed by July 1st, 2013, our obligation to pay under this agreement goes away. So relative, other development on that site is not required by this agreement. As far as I know, other development on that site hasn't been brought to the Plan Commission and approved as of yet. So there really is no other plan as of yet that I know of, or we have been, that's been submitted to us.
In calculating the TIF agreement, does the Dunkin' Donut pay it off in the proper amount of time by itself?
Do we have increment?
We do. The fiscal benefit of the Dunkin' Donuts store alone ranges around $35,000 annually. It's a combination of property tax increments and sales tax generation.
Okay, so that will take care of the TIF money. All right.
Trustee Heim.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here this evening?
Come forward, sir, and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Ted Mavrakis.
The $122,000 that they're looking for approval on, is this for the entire site, or is this just for Dunkin' Donut? It's a staff question.
It's just for Dunkin' Donuts.
Just for Dunkin' Donut?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I got it backwards.
It is to prepare the entire site
Right.
for development.
Right.
The sanitary sewer extension through the property, storm sewer extension across Wheeling Avenue, all of this has to take place prior to the whole site being developed. So this will prepare the site for further development. This will not gain further development anytime sooner than it would otherwise. It's available, but the utility extension and the sidewalk construction will need to happen, and this will get that done.
Okay. Also, I don't have anything to look at to see if, are we putting grease traps in here? A part of
The grease trap will be inside this building due to the fact that they are not, the food that's, there's no food processing in the Dunkin' Donuts. Everything comes from the outside, similar to like Subway. Those type uses don't require outdoor grease traps. They have indoor grease traps, maybe 150-gallon grease traps on the inside.
but no outside grease traps. Don't we require outside grease traps?
we require outdoor grease traps in some situations where there's food processing going on. I don't believe on this one there is going to be an outdoor grease trap.
It seems like when we go into a lot of the restaurants that we have in Wheeling, that we make it an absolute must that these buildings have grease traps. And we don't know what's going to be with this building. If something should happen to Dunkin' Donut and they decide to go out of business and a restaurant goes in there or whatever. Or if Dunkin' Donut decides to start making their own donuts at each individual shop. I think it would be highly, seeing that we are giving TIF money away, that they should be responsible for putting in the grease traps on the outside of this building. The place over there by 83 and Hens Road, they got grease traps in there for potential development and that type of thing. So.
Okay, I guess I'm mistaken. Jeff Wolfgram is here. He's telling me that the plan shows an outdoor grease trap.
Okay.
But there are locations in the village that we have not required outdoor grease traps either because of room or because of the type of food. If there is a change in food, then we would then require those locations to put outdoor grease traps in.
Okay. My next question relates to the area that on the site plan it says that it's the grass area and that is for future development. And that site looks a little bit larger than the site that the Dunkin' Donut is going on. How are we preparing the sewer over there? The entire site is going to be developed with commercial type sewers, anticipating somebody else going in there. Is that correct? So we won't be looking at anybody else coming before us on this particular site looking for TIF money.
The sewer will be public, which will run up to about 30, maybe 40 feet south or east of the Dunkin' Donuts grease traps. There'll be a manhole, and from that manhole east will be the villages. It'll be a sewer, dedicated sewer in an easement. It'll be 8 inches, and it's sized for additional users to go on it. Currently, the water main will be extended to the imaginary east line of Dunkin' Donuts, and when the rest of the property develops, the water main will then extend to Willie Avenue.
So in the future, we shouldn't be looking, there shouldn't be anybody coming to this board looking for relief for TIF funds to put up a building there, if we're doing all that now. That's what I'm getting at. Thank you. Thank you.
Question, if I may.
Trustee Drews.
I don't know if it's Mr. Stavros or Mr. Janik. You know, I was driving down there the other day. It's the fire hydrant. Where is it going to be placed on this site? Because right now there isn't one. It's way down Wheeling Avenue, right?
The plan shows for it to be on the east side of Wheeling Road.
Wait a minute, east side of Wheeling Road. How far from Dundee Road?
Approximately 100 feet. However, in consultation with Public Works, I believe that we are going to attempt to move that hydrant to the west side of Wheeling Road for better access, better access to that hydrant for a fire that might happen on the west side of Wheeling Road.
So based on the utilities that are being put in place because of this development, we're able to basically do that right now, right?
That's correct.
Where before we couldn't, or
That's
there
correct.
wasn't anything there.
That's correct.
So now will it only service the Dunkin' Donut, any future development to the east, it possibly can service stuff to the west.
That's correct.
So the fire department's got to love that. I would.
Well, the building's going to be sprinkled. The fire department would rather have a hydrant as close as possible to a new building. The fact that we don't have a hydrant on the west side of Wheeling Road.
Well, not just for this development, I'm saying for any other development or housing in that area there, which we all know there's a lot. So, again, you know what? You had stuff in there that was antiquated, it wasn't updated, you had no updated infrastructure in there, so it gets the site to the east even more desirable to be developed in the future by having the infrastructure in place and utilities in place. So, again, like I said before, I'm in favor of it, and it makes sense. And they are starting to do the right thing over there and beautifying that area.
Just one thing, Trustee Argyris. The hydrant will continue to be on the east side of Wheeling. It just won't be on the private property. It'll be in the right-of-way, which will be easier access for the fire department to get to it if there's a fire on the west side of the street.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. And closer to Dundee Road versus where it's at way down the street. Okay, that makes sense. That's all I have.
Do you have any more questions?
Madam President, I have one.
Trustee here.
Because we have parking issues in the entire neighborhood, are we going to restrict parking on Wheeling Road or Wheeling Avenue directly next to Dunkin' Donuts? Because you see the traffic's going to be coming in and out onto Wheeling Avenue, and with cars parked along the curb there could be a traffic issue that's developing as we speak, especially in the morning. And then I understand that they're going to try to restrict the traffic from turning in off of Dundee Road into the parking lot as well. Are they going to do anything with Dundee Road other than posting a sign, or are they going to raise the median strip there so people can't stop and make left turns in there, or bottleneck traffic along Dundee Road as well?
As far as I know right now, there is no denial of parking on Wheeling Road. It doesn't mean that we're not going to do that near when the store opens. And relative to access off of Dundee, it's a right-in, right-out on Dundee Road. I don't think there's going to be any signage or any raised median in Dundee Road itself.
If I can add to that, Madam President?
Yes.
When the special use was approved back in May of 2011, there was a finding that the parking areas were adequate for the use being proposed. There was a condition in the special use that the petitioner should work with the village to prohibit parking on the east side of Wheeling Avenue adjacent to the site. So we will look for solutions for the special use ordinance, if that's an issue.
Thank you. Before it becomes a problem. Thanks.
There are no further questions.
So moved.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris.
Second.
Second by Trustee Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
No.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
No.
Trustee Vogel?
No.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13C, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services for Southeast TIF District redevelopment plan.
Mr. Janik.
This is a resolution to hire a consultant for the area between Sumac and Industrial Lane for future development. The village went out, issued a request for a proposal. We received 3 responses. The consultant that we have before you tonight was the low bidder. We interviewed the consultant to make sure that what they were going to do was in conformance with the RFP, and we were convinced that it was. They're here tonight, Tetzka Associates, for any questions.
Do we have any questions?
I got a couple.
Trustee Agiris.
Maybe you just go over the process on what we're going to do here, Mark, and get everybody on the page. Is the Plan Commission going to be involved with this? Are we going to get public input on this? Are we going to get the airport involved with this? I mean...
Yes, we were all 3. We're assuming that all the governmental agencies that border it or have some sort of interest in this are going to see the plan. The consultant's going to come up with at least three different ideas on what to do, particularly industrial lane. Some of the uses that are in this area, I think, as you know, are going to be here for a long time, but there are some other areas where there could be some movement. So I think concentration is going to be more to the north, but there are going to be at least three different ways of looking at this that they're going to bring forth to us, to the board. Ultimately, the Planning Commission will see it in the airport. Okay. The airport already has some plans. They're going to get those. Dennis will be in the loop.
So the ultimate goal here is to get a comprehensive plan for that whole area there. based on some kind of market analysis and seeing what the market calls for out there?
Not only market, but also engineering.
Engineering, so we'll get some costs related.
That's exactly what we're going to do. The engineer that's associated with this consultant, with Tesca, has a lot of information about this area already. It's one reason why they were a little bitter. So they're not coming in without a lot of knowledge.
Beautiful. Great. Thanks. Good luck, guys.
Trustee Hein.
Thank you. There's a great disparity between the three different bids, and I'm sure that all of them reviewed the specifications that staff did put together. My concern is, what are we really getting for the $32,000 when we have other ones that are at $164,000 and $74,000? I mean, how deep were these people going in the scope of this? This is a very important area here, and it's a large area, and it's a very unique area, and it needs an awful lot of help, and we've got the airport right there. So I want to make absolutely sure that we should be asking for more than less when they do the study. I don't want to have to come back and somebody say, well, now we got to do a study to do this or to do that. And how much input is the airport going to have in with this as far as what we want it to be, what do we want it to be over there? So I'm a little concerned at the low number. I love low numbers, and I want to thank you for your due diligence in getting that low number. I just want to be assured that it's what we want to get out of the study.
We had the very same concern. Tesca, we have a representative here from there. All I can tell you is that Tesca has done a lot of this type of work. Like I just mentioned, their engineer has done a lot of work. Just so happens they've done a lot of work in this area for various reasons, okay? So a lot of that cost is gone, or that doesn't need to be redone, that somebody new would have to do. They've done this type of work. They've been in the Chicago area for 25 years? 30 years. This is exactly the kind of stuff that they do. Ted can stand up and tell you, if you want to stand up and, yes. We have the same concern. I can't tell you that they're going to come up with exactly what you want. What I can tell you is that from what our RFP said, it certainly seems that they fully understood what it was. I believe our RFP was relatively well worded. We had in there what they needed to get done. We had how many different alternatives we wanted to see. We wanted to see cost estimates. We wanted to see engineering cost estimates. They confirmed with us that that's what they were prepared to do. All I can tell you is that that's what it appears that they're going to do, and if you want to ask them straight out, you can ask them yourself.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions?
No, thank you.
Any more questions? If not, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Lang, second by Trustee Agiris. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Hare?
Yes.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Eversotto.
Yes.
Item 13D, resolution approving change order number 1 for the contract with Lane Christensen Company for inspection and rehabilitation services for equipment associated with Village Well Number 7.
Mr. Stavros.
Well, thank you, Madam President. This evening, for you is a change order number 1 for a little over $100,000 for well number 7. As the report states, and I have Mr. Chris Chang here tonight from Lane, who can run through his very short slide presentation. Excuse me. When this well was originally drilled, it was 1,350 feet deep. Currently, after the motor was pulled and the pumps were out, and it was cambered, it's found that the well is now 1,213 feet deep. So currently, we have about 137 feet of sand in the bottom of the well, which, you know, layman's terms, is somewhere around 12 stories. And it's significantly going to hamper future production of the well. And therefore, we are recommending that this be bailed out. It's a extensive process, which I'll have Chris explain it to you, if you would, please.
Chris, before you wow the crowd with all the engineering details, I would like to point out some of the basics to the board. Simply that when this project was originally budgeted, as the item says, it was thought that this may be a reality, and the project did have monies built into it for such an occurrence. So while the number that you are hopefully approving this evening is substantial, it still allows the project to come in at or below the budgeted cost. So before we get too deep into the engineering, I did want to make it clear that the project is not over budget with this change order. So with that, Chris, if you...
Thank you. Well, as Mr. Stavros said, the project update is that the pump and pumping equipment has been removed, and the repairs necessary are in line with the originally anticipated repairs that we brought to the board about 3 months ago. What we thought could be a possibility has become a reality in that there is a large amount of sand fill in the well, which should be removed to increase the well's efficiency and bring it back to its design. The 137 feet of fill actually blocks off approximately 75 feet of the target aquifer, which is the Ironton Galesville aquifer. This translates to 40% of the aquifer that's blocked off. I have a drawing here of the well as it was constructed. What you'll notice in the Ironton Galesville aquifer is that the well was shot with explosives for development during construction, which is not uncommon for sandstone wells. This increases the open area of the aquifer and allows you to have typically greater well efficiencies. The well was known to produce sand, which we found during our test pumping 2 years ago. And historically, the well has had a large amount of sand in the reservoir on site. Right now what we have is we have sand built up through the aquifer and in these shot holes. The reason for the large amount of time we've allocated to bailing in the change order is we don't know how much sand will come out of these shot holes, how far back the shot holes reach. Typically these were shot with 500 to 800 pounds of bulk explosives, so there could be significant caverns in the well that as we remove sand, more sand will slough in from the sides and will need to be removed. This is, as they stated, something that we thought could be a possibility, but without removing the pump, there's no way of telling what the total depth of the well is. The action plan to remove it is to mobilize. We'll bring a slightly different pump service rig to the site. We'll bring a Bucyrus Erie 36L cable tool rig, which will give us the capability to drill on any large fragments that have fallen into the well and break them up and remove them, so we can be sure to clean out the well to its original total depth and remove all the sand. Following the removal, we will conduct a bore blast 2 rehabilitation, which is an air impulse generator, which will actually be lowered down into the sandstone formation and shot off to remove any more loosened sand and bring it into the borehole so it can be removed by bailing. The timeline to complete this, pending the board approves the additional work, would be we could mobilize probably within a week. The pumping equipment repairs will actually be completed in early July. So the 2 to 4 weeks of bailing would fall in line with roughly the time that the pumping equipment will be back on site and installed. Any questions?
Trustee Brady.
Well, basically not for you. I have to ask Mr. Stavros. You know, back some time ago, you explained to us, I think when we were approving the expenditure to do this repair, why we need well 7 and some of the other wells that we still maintain. Would you want to explain it to those that maybe missed that, why we're spending all this money?
Sure. Currently, we get our water from Northwest Water Commission, which is pumped from Evanston, and the receiving stations at Foundry and Wolf Road. And if you want to call it so, there's one straw, okay, that goes to the lake. Now, for any given reason, whether it be a large failure in the transmission system itself, Evanston, or even out into the lake itself, in the where the cribs are, where they draw the water from, there could be a failure where we would not be able to receive water from Evanston. Currently, we only have 2 backup wells, and which, when they're both in full operation, does not supply enough water for on a daily basis to supply the village. In full, as far as full operation goes, that would be industrial and residential. To do that, we actually need to drill a 3rd well, not storage so much. Storage is great to have too. We'll need that out west, but we need to actually have a 3rd well drilled for our additional production of water. So in case we do lose that straw, we still have water. We have currently enough storage for, what, a day and a half, Jeff? About 10 million gallons if we were full at the time of the failure. Therefore, we need these backup wells. These wells are run every month. They're pumped to what we call waste, and they are tested under IEPA regulations. And if these wells are not operational, you don't have any water. We don't have any additional links. We're not cross-connected with any additional sources, such as it wouldn't do us any good to be cross-connected with Buffalo Grove, because Buffalo Grove is on the same system we are from Evanston. So we don't have any real alternatives but to the wells. And of course, there is a possibility, we've looked into the possibility of trying to work something out with American Water to see if we could get a interconnect with them for emergencies, but even with that, there's no guarantee that we could still supply the entire village. So therefore, when these wells are out of service, which this one is now, and we knew we were going to have 100-degree all summer, it's nice. We need to get the well back up and running. As John was stating, it was anticipated when these wells were put in, as far as when we put in for rehab, we took in consideration of everything that needed to be done. Possible baling of sand, motor rehabilitation, column pipes, cabling, telemetry equipment, and through the experience of well 5, we found out that we needed motor replacement. So when we did this contract, we added the motor replacement in right away. Well 5 did not have the situation with the sand as this one did. We didn't know how much sand we had in there, so we put a monetary value of about 10 hours of baling. Thought, oh, we might be able to get away with that. Unbeknownst to us, until we get down there, how much sand we actually had. That's why in the budget, both years, there was over $400,000 for these wells, because we went to the max on them. And then, of course, when we brought the contracts to the board, we would bring it to you what we thought would be a reasonable number, so it wouldn't, be blown out of proportion. And in this case, we went with the same numbers we did with well 5, except we added the motor, which brought it up to the $200-some thousand. But now with this change order, but we're still well within the budget as far as what we had anticipated if everything had to be done.
So this isn't a luxury. This is a necessity.
This is a necessity.
Are there other towns that are prone to be in trouble, or does every town have a backup around since we've gone to Lake Michigan Water?
Everybody that has Lake Michigan Water has backups. Buffalo Grove, I believe, didn't they just drill a new well?
They just drilled a new well.
For additional backup? It's because they were in the same situation we are now, that there's not enough water to cover their emergency needs.
Thank you, guys.
Have any other questions? If not, do I have a
So moved.
Second.
motion made by trustee Brady, second by trustee Vogel? Roll call, please.
Trustee Heim?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Argyros?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Piscato.
Yes.
Item 13E has 3 resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services for 2012 and 2013 capital projects. Number 1, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services for the 2012 MFT Street Improvement Project.
Mr. Fondilis?
Thank you, Madam President. Before I turn it over to Mr. Janik to answer any questions on the specifics of any of the 3 items before you this evening associated with this action, I wanted to give a general background statement about why these are before you. For a variety of reasons, we have the opportunity to solve some vacancies within the engineering division with some outside consultants. Because of the timing of those vacancies, we saw an opportunity, and we always, anytime there is a vacancy, we assess that vacancy and look at its necessity as how it fits into the organization and whether there is another more effective way to get the same amount of work done in a different capacity. This was one of those situations. We have 3 vacancies currently in the engineering division, all that came about at approximately the same time. That, of course, becomes even more difficult when you're talking about the middle of construction season, which we currently are. The 3 resolutions this evening look to outsource 2 aspects of what those positions do. First, it's the design of our major capital projects, being MFT and water main replacement, and 2 is the actual on-site construction management of those projects. What we have done is looked at consultants that would be able to handle both aspects of those projects and try to assess what kind of value we're getting from in-house staff versus what the potential we could get from an outside agency, both from a liability aspect, from a timeliness, accuracy, expertise, all those things. And what these 3 resolutions bring to you is, 1, dealing with the immediate problem, which are the projects that are currently happening for the 2012 construction season, as well as prepare for the 2013 construction season. So despite the fact that we have vacancies, we're really doing 2 things. We're immediately addressing the concerns that we have in order to not lose any ground between now and the next couple of construction seasons, and also taking that opportunity to value engineer, if you will, our own internal processes and see what will serve our budget and our projects the best. So as an overview to all 3 of these items, this is an initiative of staff to, again, create the most efficiencies for our projects. So with that, if there are any questions, I would hand it over to Mr. Janik to answer any specifics on the contracts.
Trustee Adjuris has a question.
Questions, Mr. Fondilis. The 3 MFT projects, based on the engineering costs and stuff like that, is that paid through the MFT fund?
Yes.
And the sewer and water fund for the water main?
Correct.
So unlike having in-house staff engineers that's coming out of the general fund, maybe it's a program that we need to look at. Instead of hiring 3 new engineers, maybe we don't hire 3 new engineers based on programs like that.
Well, a couple things. 1, the engineers that dealt with these projects were paid for out of either the MFT fund or the water sewer fund. So we have already reallocated those salaries to come out of the fund that would pay for these consultants. That being said, if there are monies to be saved by using a consultant versus the salary and benefit total cost of an employee, that just means there's more money available for those projects in the future. So we are already doing some of that, and the benefit of any value saved would only go to further these projects. I just didn't want to mislead you. So the salary is coming out of the same fund.
I understand,
as
and I think you still need to have some type of engineering inspector or an engineer on staff, but to have 3 we've talked about this at budget time too, to outsource some of the stuff versus hiring 3 new guys or what have you. Well, you didn't expect 2 of them leaving, but anyway.
Well, and I should,
keep
perhaps
that
I wasn't
staff.
clear, I'm sorry, and I should have said more clearly, if this is successful, we will not rehire those positions.
Great.
I'm sorry,
That's
I
great.
kind of
We're
went
on-
around it.
we're
but
on the page.
That's,
Okay, that's fine.
that's exactly the initiative of these contracts.
And even for development too. I mean, if there's outfits out there like these guys that can look at development for engineering, just like the Dunkin' Donuts or something like that, that can be charged back to the developer to pay and be business friendly and get things done in a timely manner, I think that's a great way to go. And I'm hearing other towns are doing that as well.
Mr. Janik is knee-deep in that very thing.
Good, knee deep. As long as that's not at the top of your head.
Do we have any other questions? Trustee Vogel?
You've got 4 different proposals in this,
I believe the number is 4, yes.
but you're only giving us 3 at this time?
I believe 4 were...
Well, there were 4 different firms that bid.
Another, you got 2012 street, 2013 street, 2013 sidewalk, 2013 water main. 4 different numbers there.
Oh, because the 2013 Mark sidewalk is already designed, correct?
No, we're going to be doing that in-house. We'll do the sidewalk in-house, we'll do the inspection this year in-house, and we'll do the design in-house as well. We decided not to go out for that project, those 2 actually.
But they priced it.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Adjuris,
Second.
second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Hill?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes.
Item 13E2, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services for civil engineering services required for the 2013 MFT Street Improvement Project.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Vogel.
Second.
Second by trustee Hein. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Hill?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes.
Item 13E3, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract for consulting services for civil engineering services required for the 213 Water Main Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Adjuris, second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. We have official communications. Trustee Brady wanted to state something this evening.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, I have several items. First of all, last Saturday, the police department has resurrected their bicycle safety program, and we held it right behind the police station over here in the park. And it turned out nice. Despite we just got out of there 5 minutes before the weather, it went from 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock. We had about 20 young kids come. They got their bicycles checked. They got instructed on bicycle safety. They were taken through the course, through all the different situations that they could run into while riding their bicycles, and explained the right and wrong thing to do. And then we're given a little, gifts and that there, and a hot dog and a drink. And there were some adults that showed up too to go through the course. But basically, I wanted to thank the police department because I think this is a huge issue these days. Everybody's pushing non-motorized transportation, and what better way to do it than to start out with bicycles? We need places to ride bicycles, and we need to know that the people can know how to safely ride them. It's bad enough when you have this conflict between cars and bikes. The cars don't understand why bicycles have the same right of way as they do. The bicyclers take it for granted that the cars understand this, and things happen. So it's very, very important. And one of the things, besides teaching the rules of the road to bikers, it's the little things to watch out for as they're riding their bicycles, that aren't printed anywhere. When you come up to an intersection, what you should be looking for. The people that aren't looking at you when you're riding by don't see you. So you have to see that they don't see you and take evasive action. But anyways, thanks to the police department, Public Works, the Park District, the Wheeling Wheelmen, Village Cycle in Arlington Heights came, tuned up everybody's bicycle, checked it for safety. I think we gave them safety stickers and registered their bikes. Thanks to Trustee Vogel and his wife for helping serve and cook and serve the hot dogs, and my wife was there too. And it was a very, very nice, fun day. A lot of people showed up just to come by and see what was going on. We're going to have, I think, John, is there 2 more this year planned, or 1 or 2 more?
At least 1 more we're planning, but, you know, this type of event is not something just the police department does. Like you said, we had so many other people that volunteered their time. You didn't mention the Knights of Columbus, too, who were involved. And because of that, we were able to have a very successful event here. 24 bikes were registered. So we're going to keep pushing this. We want people to know that it's available and it is out there. And it is a great event for not only children, but also adults.
It's very good. Secondly, this Sunday is the Wheeling Garden Club's annual garden walk, 4 o'clock, 1 till 4. It starts at the Friendship Park, which is on the northeast corner of Milwaukee and Dundee. You can buy your tickets there. You'll be given maps to show you the route to all the different gardens. I think the price is $8, and there's some nicely landscaped gardens within the village that you can go see. Afterwards, we'll be giving out prizes and have some refreshments at the last house. So if it's a nice day and you have nothing to do, come see what some of our neighbors are doing with their yards. It's impressive. Getting back to biking, anybody that's interested in biking or hiking or walking, attend this Thursday's Plan Commission meeting. They're doing a workshop on bicycling and walking paths in Wheeling, and what should be done to promote it, and what can be done in planning for the future. There's a lot going on right now with this in our needs within the community. So if you're not doing anything Thursday, right in this room at 6:30, show up and listen to what's going on. Maybe even maybe given the opportunity to put your 2 cents in too, to see what we can do to help our neighbors and help us all be able to walk and ride bikes safer in town. Then lastly, Wheeling International Fest is this Sunday at 11 o'clock at the Korean Cultural Center on the northwest corner of Palatine and Wolf Road. This is a huge deal. They have all kinds of arts and stuff on display. They have food from many of the restaurants in the area. They're going to be there. I don't know what else they have going, but it's a big event. It's sponsored by the Korean Cultural Center and the Wheeling Chamber of Commerce. So again, that's this Sunday. Starts at 11.
Trustee Brady, actually, it's Saturday.
And there's 30 food vendors, there's music, there's dancing, and there's all kinds of activities.
Anyway, Saturday, thank you. We have somebody be there.
And many businesses
Yes.
have donated their dollars in order to help make this
We have a
successful.
lot going on.
I thank you for that. That was my theme for tonight. Trustee Agiris?
Just a couple of things. Saturday night, my wife and I were driving down from northbound Milwaukee Avenue and going to eat dinner on southbound Milwaukee Avenue. And one of the nicest things, Mr. Economic Development, Mr. Finance Director, that you'd be happy to see was Weston's parking lot was jammed. Buca was jammed. Pete Miller's was jammed. Tuscany, where we were, was an hour wait. I mean, just to see some of the old days coming back and see all the activities. But one thing that was funny, that we were sitting over at Tuscany there, that we had a couple of folks that live up in Deerfield that make comment. He goes, you know what, we drove up north Milwaukee Avenue to Tuscany, and here's kudos. We always say the police and fire department, we always give you guys accolades, but I got to give community development and public works. Milwaukee Avenue, the parks, the median strips are so manicured, look so well, and we had people Saturday night actually tell us that. And a lot of them were envious. And talking to the mayor at an airport function, he had said, well, I got to copy you guys. He threw a shot that I'm starting to clean up South Milwaukee Avenue, which is a good thing for both of you guys. But you're seeing the presence of code enforcers out there. They're driving through the neighborhoods. I see them all the time. And to Lori and her staff, I mean, I don't think it's looked at any better, because now they're getting mature, the trees are getting bigger, and around the fountains are looking nicer. But the town really starting to look good, and people outside of this community are really noticing it. but it was good economically to see how busy the restaurants have been. And with the Lego thing that they had going to, the Ram was packed. Couldn't believe it, how packed all the restaurants were Saturday night, which was a good thing to see. That's all I had. Yeah.
Trustee Heim.
Thank you. I too want to congratulate the looks of the village as far as the flowers and the bedding and the landscape and everything. Everybody involved is doing an excellent job. And whoever picked out the flowers and everything did a heck of a job. Don't forget, tomorrow is the first day of the farmers market, and it'll be from 8 till 2 o'clock in the afternoon at 971 North Milwaukee Avenue, Wheeling, Illinois. Thank you.
We have anything else? Have approval of the bills, May 31st through June 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Hare?
Yes.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evans-Scotto?
Yes. Board will go into executive session, disposition of village-owned property pending probable and imminent litigation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Hein, second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Hare?
Yes.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evans-Scotto?
Yes, board will go into executive session at 7:30.